But I think for me so far the highlight of the day has been Kelly's performance.
Kelly.
Surfing incredibly well in that first heat.
That's right, 6-time champ here at Lowers. Kelly won that first heat. Now we're into heat number 3. Julian Wilson taking on Sebastian Zietz and Aritz Aranburu.
Yeah, well it's a peak situation, so these guys will try and position themselves right in the middle of that peak. Aritz opening wave here, just a small score, but look at the conditions here today. It's kind of what we saw last year. Some beautiful waves coming through. Some of them kind of close out, so you've got to be really vigilant with your wave selection and make sure you're on the good ones.
Setting up this little A-frame peak. We'll get a split peak, sticking with Julian Wilson on his opener on the right. Coming from deep. He'll create some space, snaps it off the top. Carve opportunity. Full wrap with the rebound. And he'll just keep that foam climb to get him down the line. Little inside jam for a casual start for Julian.
Yeah, nice little opener there for Julian Wilson. Not one of the biggest set waves. Was kind of playing catch up that whole wave, so you know, I'm used to seeing Julian do those nice big swooping bottom turns. Aritz split the peak, and not surprised that Aritz is going to keep an eye on those left-handers, because during that warm-up session this morning I saw Aritz get an absolute firecracker of the left, probably about 5 or 6 backside under the lip snaps, and I think you know, to me it's his backhand is his weapon. Let's have a look at Julian's wave here. You can see keeping that board moving rail to rail, trying to get around that section, constantly playing catch up, which is going to really make that first turn not that dynamic. This is just a settler for Julian, just to iron out the creases, get that competitive juices flowing again. His board's looking good, nice and smooth. Nothing too radical on that occasion.
So scores in for Wilson start a 3.83. And Aranburu just had the 1.83 before that. Now Sebastian Zietz will have priority. All the same words we have all season long as Sebastian Zietz gets started. Driving hard off the bottom, the Hawaiian slides out on his first opportunity. He'll be in the back of the line.
Surf up to my best. I can compete with anyone out here, so you know, that's the attitude I take into every heat.
And you talk about that experience in those years, and so obviously you're gearing up for a long leg now. You have family with you. Just tell me about, you know, coming into this leg in the back half of the year.
Yeah, it's such a pleasure to travel with my family and, you know, take my little girl everywhere. Come on. So yeah, she's on her second trip around the world already, and she's not even 1.5. So
over the years, I should say, 2 CT victories, and both of them over Kelly Slater in crazy conditions. One at Chopu, one in France. You know, he's just a solid, consistent surfer, very smart competitor.
As we see, Wilson starting to paddle. Remember, just got the 7.5 in the lead. Now checking out his forehand under priority. Deep off the bottom, little hack to start. Plenty open wall. Forehand jam off the bottom. Hits it off the roof. He's out in front for a dagger of a finishing move. He wants a little bit more. He'll chase it down and finally kick out. Next wave goes to Seabass. Lay back, tail slide off the top. He's down on his first 2 attempts of this matchup. And a bigger set out the back for Aritz Aranburu from Spain. All setup work for Aritz. Tags the first section. Setting up the forehand hook in the pocket. Now just waiting for this next section to grow down the line. Layback hammer off the top for Aranburu, but he can't hang on.
Advantage Wilson. You know, took the smaller wave. Was a little friendlier. You could see Aritz there just trying to search for those sections to unload the turns. Didn't quite offer that. Seabass just putting it a little bit too hard off the top. Maybe needs to tune it down just a little bit. Let's have a look at Julian's approach here. Love that clean bottom turn. A couple of pumps around the section and then another nice turn from him. So starting to find that groove. Beautiful seamless surfing from Wilson. And another good score. 7.50 on the left. He's going to back it up with something good. Seabass just blew the tail out on that occasion. And Aritz on a bigger wave. You can see he couldn't quite set the fins on that first turn. And then he was kind of searching the rest of the time. A little bit off balance right there as well. So Aritz, a couple of mistakes on this one that's going to cost him. And it's not going to be a huge score. Didn't finish it off. Went into, he knew he needed something special at the end to make this one count. And just pushed a little bit too hard there, losing his speed. and didn't ride out of that. So advantage Wilson. It's going to drop in another good score for him.
Against Felipe. Felipe stayed busy, locked in a 10 to finish. Wilson also matching up with Owen Wright at the Fiji Pro in solid cloud break conditions, and then splitting the points with Mick at J Bay. You see this kind of roll come every once in a while in a guy's career. You expect it from Julian, but talk about what a recovery for his world title campaign from what we saw him sitting last season at this time outside of the top 10 picture.
You know, you look at his performances last year. Round one was, amazing. I mean, he looked unstoppable in round one, but
doing well in the trials that Hurley put on at T Street. We're going to see Hirota Ohara from Japan and local boy Ian Crane putting the CT jersey on in a couple of heats as we have a split peek out the back. Sticking with the Hawaiian, Sebastian Zietz. Crispy start with that first blast off the top into some clean water with a forehand wrap. Drills it off the top with another highline cutty. Wraps it one more time with the rebound. Sebastian checks it off the top and a full roundhouse cutback. His best wave so far. Chips the finish and gets out of there. So after 2 falls, approaching the 8-minute mark, Sebastian Zietz lights up the lowers right. So Julian checking that last one out a little bit too deep as we take another look here on the left-hander.
Yeah, this was the Seabass wave. Aritz deciding to go on his backhand, honing his skills at places like those long left-hander, Mundaka in Spain, but Seabass, what's this first turn right here? Let those fins slide. So that's what you got to do. Open strong and then just connect the dots. Take your time. Let the wave stand up for you and then unload some big turns. Kind of got stuck in this cutback theory right here. A couple of nice wraparounds, but you got to get that board vertical out here at Trestles if you want those big scores. Beautiful wraparound cutback. That was better. More commitment there from Seabass. So he is back in the heat. 6 minutes and 50 seconds remaining. This heat is just flown by, Joe.
You can see how many opportunities Sebastian Zietz had for turn selection all the way through the inside, and just small scores in the 2 and 3 range for our surfer from Spain as we pass the 5-minute warning. You have a lot of time to think on this wave, Potts, in between turns.
That split-second timing, I think your surfing becomes a lot cleaner, a lot more dynamic.
Now having a look with 4 minutes to go. Aranburu trying to break the combo. Vertical snap. Second one right off the lip. Here comes a forehand wrap. Full roundhouse cutback. And just changing his tempo to fit the pace of this wave. He's going gutless on the inside. He has to get out of there.
Yeah, that's a perfect example of one of those ones that kind of run out to sea a little bit. No vertical face, hence those cutback maneuvers, which are not going to be the big scorers out here. Nice straight up through the lip on that first turn. And again, tagged it nicely. I love the smooth, clean surfing though from Aritz. Surfs tricky waves really well, and I think his backhand is his go-to. But surfed that wave probably as good as he could have. Still going to be searching for a massive score though. 4.50, he needs a 977. You guys have seen Mick out here every morning, just lightning fast.
Hasn't made a single mistake in about 2 weeks as we watch Wilson controlling this big first turn. Right on the money, highline wrap, even drifts the fins right into the pocket, blows the tail out one more time, attacking his sections. Now Sebastian Zietz looking to get radical. Highline carve with a lot of power. Jams one off the lip, gets a little tricky on the landing. Pulls it off for a moment, then goes down. Minute 42. That was a must-make situation for the Hawaiian to come back in the seat.
Definite must-make situation there. And, I think sometimes out here at lower Trestles, less is more. If you focus on 3 big turns on your wave rather than trying to fit too much in. You saw Julian do that. He really committed to the maneuvers, as did Seabass right here. Beautiful opening turn right there. Nice, smooth bottom turn, bang, through the fins out. How do you come around that and finish that wave off? We're looking at a massive score right there, but unfortunately getting stuck behind. Julian, this was his account right now. Fading off the bottom. Nice and low off the bottom again, and tags it perfectly. Straight in. See that seamless surfing that we like to see from Julian Wilson. 3 big turns on this one right here, and I think that's going to be his best score. A 7.5 is what he's got to try and better. His backup's a 6.77, but I think that's going to be his best score.
Unfortunately this time for the Hawaiian, he was going down.
Well, when you're looking for an 8-point plus ride, you've got to let it all hang out.
Looking like 10 seconds to go. Seabass will check out a small insider for the score. Little carve down. The horn sounds, and he'll just kind of play with this inside corner. It's going real soft, and we'll be seeing the Hawaiian reseeded into round 2 along with Aritz Aranburu, with the last wave coming in for Julian Wilson at 8.10. A massive win for world number 4 as we'll move on to the next one.